Revelation chapter 14 today. We're just rolling right along through this book that some churches don't even teach. But before we start 14, let's think about chapter 13, which I think we've covered over the course of 2 weeks. It was a scary chapter, right? It's got the beast, the political system, it has the Antichrist, it has the mark of the beast, and all this stuff that's kind of scary. It's scary, man. Go back and look at chapter 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him, the beast, to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given to him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. I mean, that's scary, right? That's like, wow, man, doom and gloom and all this stuff. Well, in chapter 14, and I think we're just going to call this sermon Hope. There's hope for us. And we're going to read, that's right, we're going to read about that hope. So let's look at Revelation chapter 7. Excuse me. Hope. Yeah, before we do that, I want to go to Revelation chapter 7, 1-4 to set the stage for something. Chapter 7, verse 1-4. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. All right, so bad things are coming to the earth, and this one angel shouts out to the other ones. And this is what he says. Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, until. It's not don't hurt them. It's don't hurt them until we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So there's 144 that are going to be sealed, that they're not going to get hurt by any of this stuff that's coming on. So we'd already read that, but we needed to know that for today in Revelation chapter 14. Going to do now. All right. 14 verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. That's the 144,000, right? That were sealed. Seal them first before we start attacking the earth is basically what we read. Now, who is this lamb?
Yeshua.
It's Yeshua. The lamb is Yeshua. And note that it says, I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion. The lamb is standing. Standing is a position of power. Standing is a position of strength. This is not a cowed lamb. This is not a laying down, beaten up lamb. This lamb is standing. Mount Zion. Mount Zion, God's mountain. Anybody know where it is?
Isn't it in Jerusalem?
It's in Jerusalem. And now, over the course of the Bible, it has had 3 different locations, like here and here and here. Like put David's fort on one. It was here. It's where the Temple Mount is, Mount Zion. Well, Jerusalem is a hilly place. It's like on a hill with peaks and valleys in the city of Jerusalem. Mount Zion, and there's a place now, the highest point they call Mount Zion. That's not necessarily what this is. It represents all of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is on a mount. It's on a height. That's Mount Zion. That is God's, Yah's, chosen place on earth. And this is where Yeshua is coming back, on Mount Zion, to Jerusalem. Which is kind of interesting when we see what's going on anybody following the Middle East peace plan? Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. And I told Sister Kate that when I heard it. It's not going to work. The Palestinians aren't going to accept it. That is Yah's land. And right now, that is the Jews' land. For now. Things are going to happen, but that, make no mistake, that is Yah's land. And Jerusalem itself is the location of Mount Zion, and that's where he's coming back. His land, his people, his designated spot. That's where the temple currently is right now, the Temple Mount. And it's that mosque is there, right? That Trump mispronounced, and I don't even know the name of it, Al something. We had a Torah teacher that called it the Big Golden Zit in Jerusalem, which I thought was kind of funny. But Mount Zion, so he's coming to Mount Zion, and with him 144,000. Now, I said we're calling this hope. They're standing with the Lamb. The 144,000 are standing. Again, all those things, overcoming, powerful, not cowed. They have prevailed. This is at the end. We are coming to the end of tribulation time period, and here stand the 144,000 that were sealed by the Father. They're triumphant, and that provides hope for us that not everybody is going to get schwacked by the evil Antichrist. People are going to make it through, and we're going to look at them a little bit more. Now, y'all look at your Bible. It says 144,000. In King James, it says, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. Does somebody have something else written on their foreheads? Nobody? That's not what the manuscript said, that they pulled this from. What the manuscripts actually say, and this is the companion Bible, King James Version companion Bible. It has a note to this effect in it. And also I have the Aramaic New Testament, and they translate it correctly. And what it actually is supposed to say is his name and his Father's name written on their forehead. See, it's talking about the Lamb, and so it has the Lamb's name and his Father's name, two names, written on the forehead, or two people. Could be one name. I submit it's Yeshua and Yahweh written on their forehead. Perhaps Emmanuel, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which means what? God with us. Gott mit uns. But this is important for this chunk of scripture that we're going to cover today, the two. His name, Yeshua, the Lamb, and his Father's name. So this is kind of the first of the two that we're seeing here, is written on their foreheads. Now, King James, it says in their foreheads. Anybody have on their foreheads?
Upon.
It is upon. It's mistranslated in King James. It's not in their forehead. It's written on their forehead. Somehow. This 144,000. Notice that written upon their foreheads is not Baptist. It doesn't say Methodist. It doesn't say Mormon. It doesn't say Seventh-day Adventist. See, there's all these people who think they understand that we're God's chosen people and we're the only way of worshiping him. I'm telling you, they're wrong. That's not the name that's written on them. The name is Yeshua and Yahweh. It's not even written on their head, Christian or Jew. It's Yeshua and Yahweh is written on their forehead. This is the important thing. These denominations are of man, and man trying to say we're the only right way. There is only one right way. But man, isn't it interesting how a lot of otherwise intelligent people all think their way is it? Remember the number of the beast? We covered that last week. It's written on the forehead, right? What did we say Satan was last week?
Copycat.
He's a copycat. This is the mark he's copying with his mark of the beast. See, his doesn't come first. This is Yah's mark. Remember all the way back in chapter 7, hey, don't do anything until we seal in their forehead, and that means on their forehead, this 144,000. That's first. Then we come forward, Satan puts 666 on his people, and now here we're reading it. So again, it's just Satan is trying to copy. Verse 2, chapter 14 of Revelation, and I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. Okay, so in this vision that he's having, he hears this voice of many waters and this voice of thunder. This is the voice of Yahweh Yeshua. They speak with one voice. I only speak the things my Father gives me to speak. You see, the Father and I are one, Echad. It's the same thing. But here again, it's coming together as the two in one in this case. Look at Revelation chapter 1. verse 15. Revelation chapter 1, verse 15. And his feet are like unto fine brass if they burned in a furnace, and his voice was as the sound of many waters. And then go to 4:5. Chapter 4, verse 5. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps. So thunder, voice of thunder, the sound of thunder, the sound of many waters. This is the voice of Yah that is coming. So I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and as the voice of great thunder. Think about this great voice. It's obviously impressive. He hears it out of heaven, and it's the voice. This is how people describe it over and over and over, of many waters or of rushing water. So it has to have some kind of quality, I would think, of right? You know, if you've ever heard rushing water. And then thunders. Thunder is like, I mean, it's like impressive, right? You feel it in your chest with a good thunder blast. He is seeing this. He's experiencing this in this vision. Who's standing there on the hill?
The Lamb.
The Lamb and? The 144,000. This voice of Yah is cascading upon them. It's falling upon them. It's covering them with the power of the voice of Yah. That's what he's seeing standing on the hill. I think that brings it a lot more into... There they are with the Lamb. The Lamb is Yeshua. There they are, the 144,000 that were sealed from the beginning of this time. And Yah's voice is just flowing down over top of them, giving them power, if you will. The harps, we're not going to turn there right now, but Revelation 5:8, we can read that the 24 elders that are around the throne, they all have harps. Right, so I'm thinking that the voice of Yah from the throne is coming down, and it's covering the Lamb and the 144,000. And then there's also the sound of the harps, the elders, the 24 elders that are surrounding the throne in the throne room in the heavens. That is coming down. And so it's like the crescendo of music, like something is getting ready to happen, right? And here it comes. There's the scene. Here comes the sound, if you will. Verse 3, and they sung, now this is the 144K, they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the 4 beasts and the elders with the harps. And no man could learn the song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So it says, they sung as it were a new song before the throne. Wait a minute. This is the 144,000. Where are the 144,000?
On the mountain.
They're on Mount Zion with the Lamb. But they're singing the song before the throne, which is up in heaven still at this point. That's because their worship is going straight to the throne. The Father hears, experiences their worship, and as they are worshiping, and worshiping is not just singing, right? It's just the total adoration, the total love, the total fear, the total respect that is just going to the Father, and that is shooting straight up to the throne room. And I submit to you, the reason it is shooting all the way up there like that before the throne is because of its, from them, the intensity and the sincerity of their worship. It's real. They're not faking anything. They are totally giving power and glory to the Father. And so it goes all the way up to the throne room. This is the song that no one can learn except the 144,000. If we're not in that 144,000, we can't learn it. Only the 144,000 can learn this song. Which is kind of interesting because they're singing it to Yah. It's going up there. It's a pretty important song, and yet no one else can learn it. And that strikes me that it is both inclusive and exclusive at the same time. It's inclusive in that the 144,000 are singing this new song. They're all singing it. They all know the words to this song. They know how the tune and the melody and everything goes. But they're the only ones who know it. So it's exclusive at the same time. And I was thinking on this, and it actually brought to mind us, Shofar Mountain. I have been accused, partially rightfully so, in comments on YouTube and other things, oh, those guys, they won't let just anybody come. You've got to like pass muster and pass a test, which isn't true. Dun, 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 dun. They just won't give you the address of where they're meeting and da 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 da. It's like, yeah, think about us. We're pretty inclusive, right? We're pretty tight as a group of people, praise the Father. And we are exclusive. You can't just decide, hey, I want to come to Shofar Mountain. We have to meet you. We have to determine, are you sincere? We don't want somebody to come here just because, well, I was traveling through the Ozarks and I thought it would be cool so I could say I've been to Shofar Mountain. We're not really interested in that. We're interested in people who want to worship the Father like we do, with us, with our sincerity. We certainly don't want non-believers, people who don't understand what we're doing here. It's like, no, this isn't a show. And so we are very inclusive with ourselves, but we're very exclusive with other people. I think we're doing okay, because the 144,000 that get sealed with Yahweh Yeshua on their head, they are also inclusive and exclusive. Think of the mainstream church. We meet every Sunday at 10 o'clock. Anybody can come. Even the dude in the long black trench coat who's acting weird. Can you even imagine that happening here? Some stranger in a long black trench coat that just doesn't fit in at all, just coming in and walking all over the place? It's like, are you kidding me? Sister Kate would stop him. Brothers wouldn't even have to get involved. Just be like, no, we're different. All right, back to same verse, 3. They sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the 4 beasts and the elder, so it's the whole throne room. And no man could learn that song except for the 144 and 4,000, which were redeemed from the earth. I looked in 4 different Bibles and the word was the same in all of them, redeemed. Does anybody have a different word than redeemed from the earth?
Ransomed.
Ransomed. That's even a better word, because anymore in modern English we don't think of redeem that way. You redeem a coupon. That's about the only way we use redeem. Ransomed is better. It's purchased. These 144,000 were purchased from the earth. With what were they purchased? Blood. The blood of the Lamb, the blood of Yeshua, his atoning blood. Did we do anything to deserve that blood? We did not. There's nothing we could do. Well, I kept Torah, so I deserve the blood. Absolutely not. First of all, you didn't keep Torah. Only one person kept Torah perfectly, and that was Yeshua. That's his unmitigated grace that he gave his life for us. His blood atoned, covered our sins. And so that's what they're purchased with. They're purchased with the blood of the Lamb, with whom they are standing next to in Mount Zion, as the voice and the music of Yah comes down, and their voice and their music of Yah, to Yah goes back up. Verse 4. And there's kind of a break here, and then you go to verse 4 because it's kind of a different subject. These are they. This is the 144,000, right? We're still talking about them. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto Elohim and to the Lamb. So these are virgins. There's a lot of people out there who have a lot of concepts about these virgins that are out there. Notice they use, some Bibles say maidens. A maiden is a virgin. It's an older word for virgins. Again, we use maiden differently now, but that's what it means. It means a virgin. And so they're like, well, they're using the masculine sense, but they're calling them virgins. Virgins are girls, females. Dun, 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 dun. Where else do we read about? Well, we read about a couple places. One place that comes to mind when I'm reading about virgins and we're reading about the Lamb and we're talking about his coming is the 10 virgins. The 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins. They're maids. They're pure. They're waiting on the bridegroom. All 10 of them are waiting on the bridegroom, and the 5 wise have oil for their lamps, and the 5 foolish don't, right? That's that story. Same thing. When one says virgins, when one reads virgins, especially in this context, it brings to mind purity, right? And it even says here undefiled, not defiled with women. So they're pure and undefiled, these 144,000. Here in this context, it's primarily spiritual. They are spiritual virgins, spiritually undefiled. But we're even going to talk about that a little bit. They're undefiled with, metaphorically, the harlot, the whore of Babylon. The Babylonian system. The system that begins as a political system and morphs, which we covered last time, morphs into a religious system. And so we can read in context throughout the word, and I was going to go there, but we're going to go long today anyway, about how you don't go whoring after other gods. Right? That's what Israel is doing. I mean, and it's just a concept that comes out and out and out. And so these 144,000 are pure, undefiled with going after this other religious system, the beast system. This is why they're undefiled with the system. And remember, that was in the last chapter. It starts out political, with a political leader, and then the other lamb, the fake lamb, comes up and it becomes a religious thing, and it's all tied in one, and it's like, worshiping the leader and yada yada. This is why we are told to kuhimp, come out of her, my people. Matter of fact, I don't like skipping ahead in the book we're in, but let's just do it. Revelation 18:4. Revelation 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Now, my people are Israel, the people who are following Yeshua, keeping Torah, all that stuff. Yah is sending the message, hey, come out of her, my people. And this is Babylon that they're talking about, and the Babylonian system. It just spent the first part of the chapter talking about how seductive and how pretty and how useful Babylon is. And it's saying, hey, come out of her, my people, so that you are not partakers of her sins and that you receive not of her plagues. So if you're in her, you are going to either participate in the sins and or receive of the plagues. You can't help but do it when you're in the system. When you're in the beast system, you're either in or you're out. And when we get to this, we'll cover that in more detail later. But you're going to have to come out from that system so that you are undefiled and unadulterated from worshiping. Now, I think a lot of people think about this and they think, well, when the time comes, I'll know and I'll come out of her. But until then, I'm going to make my money. Right? I mean, I see. Well, you guys might not, but I get that a lot on my comments. Well, you don't understand. I have a job here. Or I have this. And so I'm going to stay here till the last safe minute. But man, when it becomes this religious beast system, I'm going to come out so I'm not adulterated. Well, check it. Satan has already been adulterating the system for the entire time. From the very beginning, he's been working on it, and he has a foothold. But now and still, there's things going on. There's false worship going on out there. It's ridiculous. Look at the churches that have lesbians as their pastors and fly the flag and just do all these ridiculous things in their church in the name of worshiping Jesus, they say, right? That's like at a big end of that. But it goes down. There's some church in Norway that had this outrageous mural, like a Christian church that put this outrageous, horribly evil mural in like their church. And it made the news. And I saw it, and it was gross. So that kind of stuff is going on. There's the traditions of men, not of Yah. There's the traditions of men that are all through the church. And I'll tell you right now, we're not perfect on that. I'm talking Shofarians. I am standing up here talking to you. This is not perfect, the way this works. But it's worse in other churches. Why do they have steeples? All you got to do is look up a steeple. Just Google steeple and look where it comes from. It's not about holding a bell. And these things are on churches. There's people rejecting, in so-called religions today, they're rejecting the will of Yah. This is all working towards the beast system. It's what Satan's getting in there. They're rejecting his Messiah. Rejecting Yeshua as the anointed of Yah. They're rejecting his Torah. This is how I want you to live. Oh, we don't have to do that. And so you can look at the mainline Judaism, mainline Christianity, and they're both just already fallen in line with the beast system that either rejects Yeshua or rejects Yah's will. 144,000. We all want to be the 144,000. But guess what? Nobody here is. Nobody here is spiritually pure, undefiled. Was anybody here raised in Torah your whole life? No. You've been defiled. You have whored with other gods. So have I. It's us. We have the forgiveness of Yeshua, and we're back on the path. But that's not what we're talking about, this 144,000. They're pure. They're undefiled. They haven't done this beast system stuff. They haven't rejected Yah's will or rejected the Messiah. This 144. Look at verse 5. Continuing about the 144. In their mouth was found no guile, and they are without fault before the throne of Yah, Elohim. I think, who are the 144K? I think the 144,000 could be those who today, those children in the main today, who are being raised in Torah-observant, Christ-loving, worshiping households. They've never known anything else. Of course we keep Torah. No, we don't do some pagan winter ritual holiday thing. We are raised with the love of Yeshua. We are raised with the love of keeping Yah's commands. I think it could be them. So they're children now, and children, they're spiritual, in this case virgins, but they're literally virgins also. So it could be both. Right? They better be. Brother TJ, get my shotgun.
Yes, sir.
So I think that's who they could be. And it says they're the first fruits. Let me find that here.
4.
Verse 4. Among men being the first fruits unto Elohim and the Lamb. There's another one. First fruits to who? Elohim and the Lamb. Elohim and Yeshua. That's a theme that runs all through what we're looking at today. Yahweh and Yeshua together as one. Echad. So they're the first fruits. They're the first fruits of the final redemption that's getting ready to happen. The final redemption is getting ready to happen. Judgment Day is coming. The goats and the sheep. Boom, boom, boom. And think about it. I think these 144,000 who are basically going through tribulation unscathed. Physically unscathed. I think they're going to be preaching. I think they're going to be teaching. I think they're going to be showing the way, because there are people who are, going to come to Yah, come through Yeshua at the last minute in tribulation. And they're going to make it at the last minute. Who can hear the word if there's not a preacher to preach it? I think these 144,000 are going to have a part in that. And to whatever degree, they're like, yeah, this is how we live. This is what you do. Of course, this is what you do. Da, 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 da. And oh, by the way, look at me. None of the plagues of Egypt are on me, because I have not partaken of any sin. And so the Father is protecting me, because obedience brings blessings. Well, these 144,000 are well and truly blessed. And so I think they're going to be given an example, sharing the gospel during tribulation. And they're not going to be alone. They're going to have help. Let's look at verse 6. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. One more, saying with a loud voice, Fear Elohim, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. So he looks up and he sees, just Because see, it's really easy to read over this in the Bible and just go, okay, yeah. He looks up, he sees an angel. That's cool in itself. Every time we see angels, people are freaked out by them in the Word. Sees an angel flying, right? So, whatever. It's not like some little guy with wings just going, eat. No, this is an impressive thing. He looks up there and he sees an angel flying, and the angel is preaching. That's a rare thing that angels actually preach. They kind of announce the gospel and things like that, but this angel is preaching. And it's like, wow! I mean, imagine if we saw this huge angel right now flying through the sky. Fear Yah! It's gonna be like, whoa! I mean, it's just like a couple words in here. And it's like, I'm looking at this going, man. And he saw it in his vision, but that means it's going to be seen. As a matter of fact, who's going to see this angel? Where am I at? Preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Whether yellow, black, or white, he will keep them. It's everybody. Everybody is going to get this last angel blast, if you will, of the gospel and fearing Yah. There's no picked race. Black people, white people, orange people, brown people, blue people. No, it's everybody. Every human is going to get this blast, this angelic blast from the heavens. It says the angel has a loud voice. It's loud. It means great. It's a great voice. It's an impressive voice. It's not, love Jesus, love the sin, or hate the sin. Flying around. No. This is a great and powerful voice. And see, that's what's missing in the mainline church today. Amen. Men. People are afraid to be men. Men, manly qualities. And Brother TJ and I have talked about this ad nauseum. Brother Scott and I have talked about it a little bit too. There are manly qualities that are being denigrated in the world today. Men are typically big and bold and loud and brash and sometimes lean towards violence. That's men. We're physical. We're big. We're bold. We're not supposed to be, hello, Brother TJ. It's so nice to see you again, brother. Hello, Brother Scott. Blessed are you for coming. That's not how men talk. And this angel is personifying that. So he has this loud, great voice that he's announcing. Why is it loud? He's talking to everybody. Why is it loud?
He wants to
And great. He wants them to hear it. He wants people to pay attention. This is important. He's their attention. Everybody hears it. Everybody, every kindred, every tongue is going to see this guy, this angel, and it is the last chance. And so while he's out there with this loud, great voice flying through the sky that everybody hears and probably sees, what's he saying? What's the first thing he says?
fear God.
Fear Elohim. Fear? Fear?
Yeah.
That's not a mainline Christianity kind of thing anymore. There's a great sermon. You guys on YouTube should look it up. Sinners in the hand of an angry God. It was written back in the 1600s or something. Y'all should read it too. Look it up. You can find the whole sermon. It's an awesome sermon. People don't preach like that anymore. Fear God? No, God's our buddy. God loves us. He just wants me to be happy and have a yellow Hummer. And now, what's the jet I want? There's a jet, a G2 Gulfstream or something.
Gulfstream for sure, yeah.
Oh, I want the one that can fly to New Zealand.
G4.
YouTube? If every one of you hearing my voice would just send me $100,000. No, man. He's saying fear Elohim. Now think about the last chapter we read. We read about the beast. We read about the Antichrist and how everybody's going to take his mark and he's going to go prevail against the saints, right? That's scary, right? People hear that and they're like, whoa, this is a scary thing. He's going to kill, the Antichrist is going to kill a bunch of people. There's no way around that. He's going to kill a bunch of people. That's scary. I think that when this angel goes through the sky and says, fear Elohim, I think they're going to consider their odds. They're going to weigh the cost of things, and they're going to be That guy over there who's killing people wholesale, who's coming in and chopping off heads and making everybody get this tattoo on their forehead, he's a scary dude. I think I'm going to be afraid of him, not this little sky god. I bet you people, well, I know, I don't have to bet you. I know most people are going to go with that bet. They're going to fear him. They're not going to fear Elohim. They're not going to fear him. And we are to fear him, and that's what he's saying to do. Now, these people are going to choose to fear Antichrist. I almost went on a tangent here, but I'll just leave it at this. Fear of any kind is a choice. A 500-pound gorilla with rabies could come out looking right at me and running straight towards me right now. And I could be afraid, or I could deal with it. But fear's a choice. You have control whether you fear or not. A lot of people don't realize that. There's a whole sermon there. Let's look at Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell, in the grave. Fear Yah. You don't need to fear this person, thing, gorilla, that the worst it can do is kill you. There's nothing to fear there. It doesn't matter. We need to fear Yah. So he says, fear Elohim. Let me get back to this. I'm in Corinthians. That's 7. Here we go. All right. He says, fear Elohim and what?
Give esteem.
Give glory to him. So we fear him and we give him glory. We give him the praise. We give him the honor. All honor and glory goes to Yah. Fear him and give him glory because judgment is here. It's time. Or everybody's going to face the Maker at this point. Now he says, come and worship, right? You know what the irony here is? This is the last chance for everybody. Fear Yahweh, give him glory, worship him. So people have a choice. Most people are going to choose unwisely. They're not going to choose to do that. And then you know what's going to happen very soon thereafter? Every knee shall bow. They're all going to give him glory. They're all going to give him honor and justice. And it's going to be too late. Too late. They're going one way. The people who chose to give him honor and glory and worship earlier, they're going another way. But they're going to do it anyway. They just don't realize it. Every knee shall bow. Now, let me look at this again. Saying, all glory to him, for the hour of judgment is come, and worship him that made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and the fountains of the waters. At which point we go to Colossians chapter 1. Colossians chapter 1. Fear Elohim, give honor to him that made everything. I'll get there. There we go. Colossians chapter 1, verse 12. Giving thanks unto the Father, which has made us meet suitable to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who has delivered us from the power of darkness, and has translated us unto the kingdom of who? His dear Son. In whom, so we're talking about the Son now, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the Son's blood, Yeshua's blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible Elohim, the firstborn of every creature. For by him, by the Son, by Yeshua, were all things created that are in the heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things are created by him and for him, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. Who created everything? Yeshua. And so when we look at this verse again, because the sermon could go a different way, I'm kind of touching on it today. Saying in a loud voice, fear Elohim and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. So fear and give glory to Elohim, to Yah. But it says, and worship him that has made everything. So once again we have Yahweh and Yeshua. Fear, give glory to Yahweh, worship Yeshua, because he made everything. So that's who we're talking about there, clearly. Whose name's on the forehead of the 144K?
Yeshua.
Yahweh and Yeshua. His name should be in your head too, on your forehead, metaphorically speaking. Yahweh and Yeshua. We who fear Elohim, we who worship Yeshua, have nothing to fear. Nothing to be afraid of. We fear him, but we have, I'm talking about for what's coming, that doesn't scare us. We have Yah on our side. If he be with us, who can be against us? And in fact, in not only do we have nothing to be afraid of, we have a lot of hope. We have hope in him. We have hope through him that everything is going to be fine. We have hope in Yah. We have hope in Yeshua. It is those people who don't worship Yeshua, those people who don't keep the commands of Yah, that have to be afraid, that have to fear. It is they who will taste the wrath of Yah when it comes, not us. They've got something to fear, and as a matter of fact, next time, be it the Father's will, that's what we're going to look at, is those people. But for us who fear Yeshua, fear Yah and worship Yeshua, we're good. We've got the hope of the ages. Let's pray.